Welcome to AIS Week. I am Naisha Owens-Patterson, and along with my colleague Carmen Thompson, we are excited to share with you some great insight in teacher clarity as we discuss the effective creation and implementation of classroom expectations. Carmen and I proudly serve in the Culture and Climate Department of JCPS, specifically in multi-tiered systems of support under the leadership of Assistant Superintendent Katie DeFerrari, our MTSS Department Lead, Dr. Naomi Brahim, and our supervisor in MTSS Behavior, Sandra Hensel. In MTSS Behavior, we serve as district resource teachers, providing support and training to schools in positive behavior support systems and restorative practices. Along with this presentation we are sharing with you today, we strive to reduce disproportionality and provide the necessary skills to improve behavior in our schools. Our learning intention for today is to use the guidelines of OMPUA in the creation of classroom rules that align with classroom expectations. We will discuss more in detail these research-based guidelines and how to use these guidelines to effectively create aligned expectations and rules for our classrooms. So imagine, what do you think it would be like if you took your students to the museum on a field trip without any level of guidelines in place? Or what do you think it would be like if you took your classes to the school-wide assembly without expectations or rules? I'm sure that our imaginations would show us that that could possibly be fun in some aspects, but absolutely lead to a disaster. And as you know from experiences in your own classrooms, it is imperative to develop a system for teaching behavior to your students. The why behind developing a system for teaching behavior is simple yet powerful in that it provides a safe environment conducive for learning by establishing structure and helps students to engage in instructional tasks. Also, when rules and routines are taught at the beginning of school and enforced consistently each day, research has strongly suggested that student academic achievement and task engagement is increased. Another great benefit of the development and teaching of a behavior system in your classroom is that clearly stated and consistently supported expectations lend credibility to your authority as the teacher. Terms such as expectations, behavior, and rules are often used interchangeably and can be confusing for everyone. Expectations are outcomes, and there should be 3 to 5 school-wide expectations at your school, such as be safe, be responsible, and be respectful. Each classroom should have 3 to 5 expectations aligning with your school-wide expectations. Whereas expectations are outcomes, rules are specific criteria for meeting these expectations. Rules are OMPUA. That is observable, measurable, positively stated, understandable, and always applicable pro-social examples for each expectation. Behavior is any observable action, such as stand and push in your chair or eyes on the speaker. The foundation for creating classroom expectations is in the school-wide expectations. Staff members should use the school-wide expectations as the foundation for their classroom. Expectations because it will be less confusing for students and should be easy for teachers to show the connection from the expected school-wide behavior to what is expected in the classroom at all times. As stated earlier, rules are specific criteria for achieving expectations. They are consistent with school-wide expectations and they meet these guidelines. They are first observable, meaning behaviors that we can see. An example would be raise your hand, stand in line, or sign the log-out sheet. They're also measurable. We can count the occurrence of the behavior. Examples include start work at the bell, have your binders open, or bring materials. They're also positively stated, meaning things to do to be successful. We tell students what to do, like keep your hands and feet to yourself and be in your seat when the bell rings. To tell students not to fight or don't be off task is ineffective language for rules. We also want our rules to be understandable in student-friendly language. The way you may state your rules for kindergarten can be totally different from ninth grade. Again, any of the examples mentioned before would apply here. Just make sure that the language is student-friendly by adjusting it for your audience. Always applicable, meaning something the teacher will consistently reinforce. Examples include stay in your assigned area and be on task during work times. As a recap, expectations are outcomes. Statements like be responsible is a tricky one because based on the definitions we have discussed, being responsible is an outcome of student performance, which is actually an expectation, rather than a specific criterion to achieve an outcome. Therefore, that would be a non-example of rules. Think about your own current classroom expectations and rules and how they align with the information that was just presented. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Carmen as she provides valuable insight in implementing your classroom rules.
Good morning, and thank you, Naisha. Implementing the rules, that's what we're going to talk about first. Involve your students in developing your classroom rules. That's whether it is in the classroom face-to-face or if it's virtually. Allow your students to be a part of making those classroom rules, as well as virtual rules. Have students commit to the rules. This may require you to make a Google Doc or a little contract so that students are saying, yes, they have helped create these rules, and yes, they will abide by the rules. Teach classroom rules by demonstrating examples and non-examples. It's always best practice to give examples to the students. As teachers and staff and administrators, sometimes we just think that children know what you mean when you give rules, but really you need to give them examples of it and example and non-examples as well. Monitor and give frequent feedback when students follow rules. Students love praise. So when you catch a student doing the right thing, maybe helping another student in the classroom, give them that praise. Let them know that you are watching and that you are proud of the way they are handling themselves in the classroom. Share rules with the families and others. Sometimes as teachers, administrators as well, we forget to include the families in the rules. So we get upset, we send out letters, but the parents sometimes don't even know what was the rules for the classroom or the rules for the building. So we should be intentional in making sure that the families get those notifications through letter or through email, but just as long as they know what is expected of their student. Points to consider, like Naisha went over. Think of 2 rules that you feel you need to be in every classroom and why the rules are important. Make sure the rules are O, observable, M, measurable, P, positively stated, U, understandable, and A, always applicable. If you follow these guidelines, this will help you in your classroom be successful in getting those rules and expectations across to your students. This is an example of a classroom matrix that you can use and post in your classroom. You put up your expectations, be responsible, be respectful, and be safe. With be responsible, under the classroom rules and examples, stay on task, offer to help, apologize for mistakes. Be respectful. Those examples are raise hand, track the speaker, follow directions. And be safe. Those examples are walk quietly and keep hands and feet to self. If you post this in your classroom, students will know, okay, these are our rules, these are the examples, and this is what is expected of us. These rules should be posted in a place that the students can see, not behind a door, not behind a shelf, but in a place that is recognizable Students know, oh, there's the rules. Even your principal coming in the classroom, they can see you have it posted right there. Since we're not formally face-to-face together, but you can, with your team, create your own classroom matrix. So looking at it, it is blank now. So you need to go with your team, think of some rules that maybe your team, first grade team, kindergarten team, would like to come together and make school-wide expectations in the classroom, examples of those expectations. Fidelity Check. This is a tool that we use in our department to do walkthroughs through your classrooms. We automatically look for that matrix and see if you do have your expectations posted. So in this observation tool, we look at our classroom expectations posted, are students observed following those classroom expectations? Does the teacher refer to the expectations when redirecting the students? How many times does the teacher refer to the expectations by using a tally? How many times does the teacher redirect students? And we also use a tally for that. You can use this yourself, or your principal can do a quick walkthrough. I do have a copy of this, and if you would like this quick fidelity check, email me and I will make sure that you receive it. In our closing, this is our closing information. On August the 4th, meet us for a live Q&A session following our presentation. Our email addresses are to the left of you. And on August 5th and 7th, please email us your questions and we will respond promptly. We will not be available to do a live question and answer. Thank you again for watching our presentation.
Thank you for joining us.